Grammar can feel intimidating, but in IELTS Writing Task 2, you don't need to know every rule in the language. What you need is a good command of a few key sentence types, and you need to use them deliberately. In this lesson, we'll build your foundation with simple and compound sentences. Let's start with simple sentences. A simple sentence contains one independent clause. In other words, it has a subject and a verb, and it expresses a complete idea. A classic pattern is subject, verb, object, cars produce carbon dioxide. This is straightforward and clear. You can extend simple sentences by adding time phrases or other details, but they still remain grammatically simple. For example, until the 20th century, air pollution was mainly caused by fire for cooking. Here, air pollution was mainly caused by fire for cooking is still a single independent clause, and until the 20th century is just a time phrase at the beginning. Simple sentences are extremely useful in IELTS essays, especially for topic sentences and for stating key arguments. When you introduce a main idea at the start of a paragraph, you want the examiner to understand it immediately. If your topic sentence is too long and complicated, the main point can get lost. That's why in the writing system, we often use simple sentences to present the core idea first, and then use more complex structures in the supporting sentences that follow. Now let's move on to compound sentences. A compound sentence links two independent clauses, usually with a coordinating conjunction such as and, but, so, or yet. Each part could be a sentence on its own, but you join them to show the relationship between the ideas. For example, the most common cause of air pollution in Australia is coal-powered energy production, and this is also true for many developed countries. Here, the most common cause of air pollution in Australia is coal-powered energy production, is one independent clause, and this is also true for many developed countries, is another independent clause. The conjunction and joins the two. Another example, the most common cause of air pollution in Australia is coal-powered energy production, but for many other developed countries, private vehicles are the biggest contributor. The word but signals contrast between the two parts. Compound sentences are very useful when you want to add more information about your argument without making the grammar too heavy. They are also great for showing contrast or cause and effect in a very direct way. For example, air pollution in cities is mainly caused by cars, so the government is implementing taxes to regulate their use. The part after so is a natural consequence of the first part. In your essays, one good strategy is to think of simple sentences as signposts and compound sentences as support and connectors. Use simple sentences to state your main points clearly. Then when you need to add an extra related idea, a contrast, or a result, use a compound sentence. Examiners assess both the range and the accuracy of your grammar. If you only ever use very basic simple sentences, you may not show enough variety to reach Band 7. On the other hand, if you try to make every sentence long and complex, you increase the risk of errors and confusion. A balanced approach is best, a mix of well-controlled simple and compound sentences, with some complex and compound complex sentences where they really add value. One way to practice is to take a short paragraph and rewrite it using different combinations. For example, start with 3 separate simple sentences, then join 2 of them with and or but to form a compound sentence. Then try switching the order of the clauses. This kind of practice helps you feel comfortable manipulating sentence structure, which is exactly what you'll need to do under exam pressure. In the next lesson, we'll move up a level and look at complex and compound complex sentences. You'll see how to use dependent clauses to show relationships like concession, cause and effect, and conditions, all of which are essential for high band writing. If you haven't already, download the coursebook through the link below. It expands on this lesson and will guide you through the other videos.